Do you want to be the Undertaker or do you want to be Kane?
I'm clearly Kane. Well, you're older,
I am,
so it does work.
I am older.
And I could do this.
I can slightly do the eye in the back of there.
Yeah.
All right, so all right, 3, 2, 1. How did this get over?
Well, they look quite more intimidating than us two.
You look like an eagle and I look like I'm not getting sleep.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Sam's on Wrestling, and this is the Power Rankings. I am joined by Baby Sam.
Hello there.
And if you are unfamiliar with our Power Rankings, here's how it works. We take a wrestler, female wrestler, or a tag team wrestler, give them a score out of 10 in 10 different wrestling categories, combine our score together to give a score of 200, and then see where they place on our leaderboard. We're looking at tag teams today, and we are looking at BOD, the Brothers of Destruction. Yes.
When you say that, I think of Bodmas. I don't know why, that's a massive.
Well, you shouldn't, because that's Bidmas now, and Bodmas is outdated.
Well, the more you know.
Yes, and make America use Pedmas, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So if you, what do you use to delineate between brackets, indices, division, multiplication,
Everyone
addition?
has just tuned out.
What? Maths is great. Anyway, before anyone asks, Kane and the Undertaker, two of the greatest of all time, surely this will be like a huge score. It's based on them as a tag team, not individual. We always talk about that. We talked about it with the Hardys, didn't we?
Yeah.
It is what they do solely as a tag team. So nothing excluded when they're on their own or anything like that. But before we get and find out what we think about the Brothers of Destruction, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please either turn the lights off or light a fire, so you can enjoy the Brothers of Destruction.
Yes. I would suggest the former.
What's wrong with you? You can watch it outside. Marshmallow?
Oh, I thought you literally went set
You mean
fire
arson?
to your room.
You mean arson?
That's what Kane's all about.
What? Candles and incense are a thing.
Yeah, but if you're going to go full Kane...
If JR is nearby... Tag team wrestling ability. This is their wrestling ability as a tag team. Their moves together in the ring. Sam, where have you gone with?
I've gone with a 7, because I think they're both very good wrestlers, but I don't think of a lot of tag team moves that they had, you know what I mean?
It's not even that. I reckon if you actually broke down every single tag team match they've ever had, I wouldn't say they were great wrestling.
Yeah.
I've gone 6.
Okay.
I've actually gone lower because my brain goes straight to Chronic in that terrible match. Everyone goes, "Oh, Chronic." I went, "No, Kane and Undertaker also had a bad match," and then you got SummerSlam 2001, DDP and Canyon. That is a bad match, bad booking. When they were a tag team against Stone Cold, what was it, Breakdown, I think it was. They didn't work great together. I never just looked at them and thought they were a great tag team.
Well, the problem they have is they're too big and too powerful and too incredible. So the problem you get is you have to, if you're going to isolate one man and work at one guy the entire match, it's Kane.
Yeah.
You're working down. It has to sell loads. So nothing tag teams.
Kane and Big Show had the same problem. Yeah.
Exactly. So that brings it down when you get an Undertaker, the hot tag. It's like Kane could just deal with Chronic on his own.
Like I remember when they had a triple threat tag team tables match. Try and say that. That was No Way Out 2001. You got the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys are, we'll kick you and beat you and throw you to tables, and Edge and Christian are cowards, and they were caught in the middle of the two of them, and they're going, you are one of the greatest tag teams of all time, even though they're cowardly and doing all that lot. But how do you win against Undertaker and Kane? So therefore, you have to ask the question: why are you not always the tag team champions in booking?
That is the problem, isn't it?
I've never enjoyed a Kane and Undertaker tag team match.
I think the problem is it always sounds better than it is. It's like Undertaker and Kane joining forces, and then.
And we also, let's be honest here, you cannot ignore the terrible, terrible match they had in Saudi.
Oh, you can and you must.
You can't.
But you must not treat it as canon to the wrestling world. It never happened. Shawn Michaels retired at WrestleMania 26. Shut up, Sam.
What are you on about?
Stop talking about this.
Kane's mask fell off.
People. That's funny.
Triple H got injured.
Shawn Michaels was bald, Sam.
Shawn Michaels had to hold the match together.
We don't talk about that match, Sam, and I'm frankly upset that you brought it up. And so is everyone else.
Sorry. So the Saudi show.
I'm going to leave again.
Well, there's storytelling in that one, and we're on to storytelling. Their storylines and their stories that they told in the ring. Sam, what did you go with here?
So I'm going to massively contradict myself in my own point, because when I made this, I didn't think of that point. I've gone 7 for storytelling.
I've gone 6. No, I've gone 7, pardon me. I've gone 7. No, I actually have gone 7. I think their storytelling was better than their ring work. They told stories.
They did.
To an extent, They weren't good stories. They're not great as a tag team.
They are 2 singles guys. They are, because I think with a tag team, you need them to not be that formidable on their own that they need a partner, or you have like a Braun Strowman and like, I don't know, not what's the kiddie tag with? Not him,
Nicholas.
But like, not Nicholas, not quite that, but like a Rey Mysterio, where you've got a guy that you can work on and there's a mix. Whereas that,
if you're a big guy, that is.
Yeah, so I think the dynamic's a bit off.
I was just thinking about their best matches, and like maybe even the Wyatt match might be one of their better matches.
All right. Yeah.
But they were old, and Wyatt did a lot of heavy lifting in that, and there's just not a lot to grab onto. So you look at the storytelling, and you have to go to the invasions and stuff like that. And storytelling isn't great, but it is better than the ring work. Their storytelling.
So I can keep the 7, but I don't feel comfortable about it.
Their promo ability, their ability on the microphone. This is a tough one. What have you gone?
I've gone 8.
Why?
Because I think individually they're both very good promos. Undertaker more so.
But what about their promos when they were tag team?
I don't know of that many.
Because think about when they were on. You got 1998. Kane's not doing any talking, and Undertaker's in ministry mode, so his promos are not great. I'm not a massive fan of Ministry Undertaker. It's not a big thing for me.
Neither.
And then you start getting into Invasion, where Undertaker's the American badass, just cutting some of the worst promos of his career. They're awful. His whole rivalry with DDP's around that time, which then leads to the tag team match. And it's just, he's cutting bad promos. I've gone 6 because every time they're together, promos aren't a thing that's great at all.
It's almost like they don't really need promos. They just need to look at you menacingly and you're like, oh,
you're absolutely right.
I've messed up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, I can get on board. I'll take mine down to a 7 for that.
Undertaker's doing all the heavy lifting as well, so you can't go high because Undertaker's doing most of the work.
Yeah.
So I think the best promo they generally did is actually for the Saudi show.
Yeah, you're right.
That's actually probably the best promo because they talk together. They talk menacingly. They're in a boiler room, and there's a great blooper.
Yeah, I was just thought of that. What was it?
I'm not talking about it. It was rude.
It's rude, yeah.
So you've gone down to 7, are you?
I'll go down to a 7, yeah. I just think it's easy to think on paper because they're both good characters and decent promos.
And Kane became quite a really good promo by the end.
He did, yeah. But yeah, I'd say 7.
Fair enough. We move on to their look. So, Sam, why have you given them a 10?
Because it's amazing. It's badass. Are you
awesome.
Not giving them a 10?
They look awesome.
They're like the devil's sons, and they look like it, and they're massive, and they will kill you.
This is where them being singles guys coming together works.
You'll mess them, would you?
Yeah,
you just hand them the tag team championships. Like, just have it. Please don't hurt me or kill my family.
It's fantastic. I think about the Royal Rumble 2001. And Scotty Totty come down the ring and they're just in the ring together. And you're just like, yeah, that's pretty scary. That's pretty terrifying. Yeah. They look awesome. And every time they actually got together, the majority of the time it's when Kane looks at his best. Because Kane was jacked in 98 and 2001. So he looks amazing and he's wearing good outfits, apart from once. He used like that kind of mesh red.
Yes.
Once there was no red.
Very 2000s.
And it was like a black negligee. You're like, Kane, sexy Kane.
Yeah.
The only reason I could have knocked it down is because Undertaker in 2001 in particular looked awful.
He had a silly bandana.
Not even just that, he looked tired, he looked injured, he looked out of shape. Everyone thought he was going to retire and then retired, good grief, like 18 years later. It's ridiculous. But generally speaking, even when they came back and did the Saudi show, they still looked great.
You can't not give that a 10.
It's a 10 look. It's a 10 tag team look. We move on to their entrance, them coming down together. Sam, what have you gone for that one?
Well, it's clearly a 10.
It's also a 10.
It's the Undertaker's entrance with a bit of fire on top of it.
Yeah.
It's like, what more do you want?
I will always go, this is where the only thing I did like is 98 Undertaker's proper ministry theme. It's so brief. It's so brief. Like people go, there's a normal gong. They're like, no, there's this kind of amazing Jim Johnson guitar riff going on underneath. And when you pair it with Kane, they worked so well. Because when they came out to that, they didn't need Kane's thing. They just looked awesome coming out. There's fire going on. There's smoke going on. The music is amazing. I think 1998 is the one I go for at their best. And they still look fine coming down to ring 2001.
I honestly think a Brothers of Destruction entrance has to be the most intimidating entrance in wrestling history.
Because Deuce and Domino, I think.
That is mighty.
That is.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't forget about Santino, of course.
I'll get it. We'll move on to their heel work, what they are as bad guys. Sam.
So this might be a bit of a cheat because I don't remember any of their
98
heel. Yeah, 98, and I don't really remember their heel work. So I've gone with an 8 because I just imagine those two as a heel type team.
I've gone 9, so you're in the correct sort of region, I think. I went with 9, which will probably get the 8 because they had a really weird rivalry with Stone Cold, but they're working for Vince. And they're, doing his heavy hitting while at the same time kind of being this rivalry with each other. So they're heels against each other, against Stone Cold. Stone Cold's battling these two big guys. So it works because of just who they are. And Austin having to fight from underneath worked really, really, really well. They actually were, I would argue, weird heels in the Rumble 2001 because Undertaker's a heel there.
Yeah, they essentially...
But Kane... was heel. It's very short, so it's hard. But Undertaker was a heel, so when they were kind of getting back together, but then Undertaker slowly moved babyface over the course of the rest of the year. So it's a tough one for me. But I have to go with 9 because I think of the way that Undertaker had to, Stone Cold had to fight from underneath, working with Vince.
Yeah, what a foil to give a babyface. You've got to overcome the Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah,
that works,
really
doesn't
well.
it? Yeah,
and you've got to get out because they clearly don't get along. So you had to get out as well, which it helps everyone. Everyone looks strong. They won that match. They double chokeslammed him,
and
double pinned him, and they both lost the title. And you're like, screw you, Vince.
Yeah.
Their run as a babyface. Sam, where have you gone here?
You might disagree here, but I've gone with an 8.
I bounced up and down because the invasion really hurts me.
Yeah, I get that.
But I've gone 9.
Okay.
Because I think as much as we have to take the negative, we talk about at their best, and at their best they are super over. I think Kennedy and MVP, when they did that sort of tiny, teeny run, really worked well as a babyface team. So people want to cheer them.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You can't not cheer Undertaker and Kane when they're together. People are like, yeah, they're together. Yeah! Even the heels. And I think the fact that you make people go, yeah, means that they can't do much wrong.
No.
I just wish that they were better with I would have given them a 10 if their Canyon and DDP stuff wasn't so bad. Because they look like bad baby faces. They really do. It's really not good.
No, I can understand that. For me, I just think, especially their 2015 stuff as well, everyone goes mental for them.
That's Wyatt, isn't it?
That's the Wyatts. And because they've had such a storied lore of a feud, you get the complexities and the characters behind them. So when they unite, it's like, oh, they're actually on the same page. It's quite a special thing. And I think it was good that it never lasted that long.
It was always fleeting.
Because it made it feel like a real brotherly relationship. They could only really get on the same page for a little bit and then would feud again. So I think that's what made it special because you understand the depth of the characters so much.
One day we're going to start doing pay-per-view reviews. Okay? And we're going to start reviewing one once a month, maybe twice a month. But sometimes it will be someone's run, sometimes it will be a run of a particular thing, or sometimes it will just bounce around. And we will definitely look at Undertaker and Kane over the years, either in the ring or tag teaming. And obviously we're doing all of them. And I'll tell you what, it is a hodgepodge of things. And I look forward to that. And we might actually have to come back and retrospectively change the scores. Yeah. But anyway, yes, they were great as a babyface team. Gimmick and personalities. Sam.
It's just a 10, isn't it?
I give them a 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I could understand your 10. I had 10 originally.
Wow.
And I went, do you know what? Their gimmick is separate.
Yeah.
So coming together, it's not the gimmick that they are. It's a separate gimmick that works well together, which is why it's still high. But I look at things like their personality, because Undertaker at this point could talk, and every time they were together, his personality is at its worst. 98 Ministry, 2001 Invasion, his personality is really bad, and Kane can't talk. So the gimmick of the Brothers of Destruction is so good, but I couldn't feel in my heart and hearts that it was a 10 out of 10 gimmick, because it was two gimmicks coming together. And personality, my brain went, oh, The Undertaker was at his worst during these times.
I can get that. For me, I'm more basing it off of the MVP and Kennedy stuff, and then the Wyatt stuff. And I just think, well, they're the two of the best gimmicks in wrestling history. I think that I would give them both 10s on this.
I give them both 10s as personalities, as gimmicks, but together,
I think it's
I just
amazing.
couldn't. It's a tough one, because I did have 10, but I just went, do you know what? Every time that they get together, it's either is really entertaining for the fans, but you said it's so short-lived. You have to work out why is it short-lived, and that's because it doesn't quite work.
I get that.
And I think it's because the gimmick doesn't quite work.
I think you're ranking them down more on promo.
Oh, a little bit.
More on promo, and to me, gimmick personality is a different thing. It's the concept of the characters instead of the promo.
If I could do a 9.5, I would.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with 9. I'm going to stick with 9, but I would also understand why you would give it a 10. I really could. So I had 10, and I was just like...
Think of the name of the team as well.
Brothers
of Destruction. Like,
yeah, but
then beating them.
But then you can just go bod.
Yeah,
you are bod. Over and a draw. 10.
Yeah, 10.
Moving on.
Yeah.
You always end with a finish, and that's what we're looking at now. Their finisher, which we're going to go for the double choke slam. Sam,
I think you'll massively disagree. I'm going with a 9.
I've gone 8.
Have you? Okay. I thought you'd think it was too simple.
It is too simple, but the first ones ever saw do it. And as far as I'm aware, it's kind of the first mainstream. There definitely would have been people who did it in the 80s and stuff like that. But I think those two worked really well, because it's Kane's finishers anyway. And I think they actually worked quite well, because they actually, both, Kane was a strong man. When they asked Brock Lesnar who was the strongest person in WWE, he said Kane.
I assume it was Mark Henry, but
yeah, so
Kane,
did I.
Yeah.
But they said Kane. He said they did like arm wrestling, and Kane would like be level with him or beat him. I can't remember which one it was. And Big Show, I think, said John Cena, but he also said Kane is also up there as well. Yeah. So with that tag team finisher, they held people in the air. It wasn't just up and down. They didn't just do a jump. They actually held, and I actually really liked that. And you also got to throw out when they had Kane's practicing the last ride.
I was about to bring that up. I literally was about to bring that up. Yeah.
Bye for Naki.
Have you seen Undertaker did a podcast on that? And and Kane, that was actually a botch.
Yeah, it was
and
a
you
botch.
wouldn't think.
No, you wouldn't.
That's the brilliance of.
Well, that's how good he is. Undertaker was superb at just getting that to work. But you have to actually praise Funaki and Taka to be able to also go with it, because you're there going, I'm meant to be powerbombed here, and then someone's like, down I go. No, the double choke slam's good. Yeah. I had to go with an 8 because it is simple.
Yeah.
And they could have done something unbelievable, like almost like a double tombstone would have been, really unbelievable. But had you
the Young Bucks finisher, Kane just as the springboard.
I hate that movie.
Yeah, so
it's a double choke slam for me is an 8. I think 9 is also fair.
Yeah,
fair enough. So let's see where they're going to go on our leaderboard in quite a contentious one. It was difficult to rank.
It is, I think, because the wrestling ability they're very different. They're a very unique tag team in the fact that they don't have someone who can easily sell.
Yeah.
And they're quite similar and quite different at the same time.
Do you think they would have been better if Paul Bearer had been with them the entire time? So I know he did it obviously in 1998, but if I'd have had Paul Bearer to just tie it together.
I think mic-wise, yes. My concern is more when they actually start wrestling.
Yeah, it is. It's never a great match, and they never really did a proper main event. Like they had the match against Stone Cold and Triple H Backlash 2001, and that is just such a throwaway match to get the tag titles onto those two. Yeah. It's such a throwaway. So it's a bad main event as well. Those four don't work.
On paper, it sounds amazing,
but it never worked. Yeah. The main event when because TNA did it as well. I think it was Dudley's versus Angle and Joe. And that was for all the gold, and it doesn't work. No. So, Sam, what have you given the Brothers of Destruction, or what have you given?
I have given them an 86.
I've given them an 84. So pretty much the same. So that gives them an overall score of 170. And where do they go on our tag team leaderboard? They have slotted into second place, silver medal position, 2 points behind Matt and Jeff Hardy. I would argue that's probably about right.
I think that's fair.
I would rather the Hardys be above, but not by a lot. So that is where we are. We have done the Brothers of Destruction. What do you think? I think this is definitely much an interesting one, and we want to hear what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and put below what you would rank these guys in your out of 10. Definitely an interesting one. We might, but one of the first times we could actually do a revisit.
I agree.
Could definitely be a revisit.
They're doing the Saudi show.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
They were all bald. They all had no hair.
Undertaker had some hair. He was very receding.